Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is a Stamp and Chat with Kay. Drinking coffee, thinking of you. So glad you can be here. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Maria. Good to have you here. I was just a tiny bit late. I jumped onto Facebook thinking, oh, I'll just scroll through a few posts. Oh my gosh. It is such a time warp. All of a sudden it was like 3 minutes after 10 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be doing a Facebook Live. I'm sure that's never happened to you. Hi, Lynn. Good to have you here. Hi, Karen. Hi, Diana. It's great to be here. Hi, Philomena. We're going to make such a cute card today. So if you're wondering what in the world I was talking about when I said it was a mystery card, my downline and we have a special group called Creative Crafters Stamping to Share. So I started this group actually the day I got my very first downline member. And she's actually still with me all these many years later. But it's a Facebook group and we do online meetings because we have demonstrators all over the country. So we do an online meeting once a month. And then we do a little stamping, and it's a mystery card. So I have them gather the supplies, and then we, 3 different times throughout the meeting, we work on putting that card together, and it's just so much fun. So this is actually the mystery card that we made in January at our January Creative Crafters meeting. So it was lots of fun. Oh, and you guys are so nice to share. Thank you. I will be doing a drawing on Tuesday, and I'll give away each of these cards. One of the cards is a little feminine, and the other one is masculine. So they are just great cards. You can, of course, use them year-round. They're also nice Valentine's cards that aren't too gushy. And the stamp set that we're using is Punch Party. Now, this is a host-only stamp set. And of course, us demonstrators tend to get it because we place our larger orders all at one time so we can accumulate the rewards and meet our quarterly quotas at the same time. So I will be sharing this with you, and it's only available through Celebration. But you know what? This is such kind of a generic little card, and I'm sure you have stamp sets that would work just as well. So we will just assume that you can make this with probably products right on your shelf. Hello. Hi, Rosemary. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Hi, Donna. Hi, Marty. It's so great to be here. Okay, so one more sip of my coffee and then I think I'll turn the camera down and get started. I'm actually going to use the Simply Scored tool today because I want you to see why we flip the paper when we're scoring it for this particular card. So just give me a second and we'll get rolling here. All right, lots of products as you can see. And so much fun. So the cards are kind of buried here. So I'll show the cards first and then I'll show you all the different supplies we're using. And the reason we have so many supplies is I'm going to use I'm going to make 2 different cards. One, as I mentioned, that's more masculine, which will be this one. Isn't it nice? And then this is the fun fold. So when you stand it up, it stands up like this. I'll see if I can just hold it here so you can get a good look at it. Lots of fun. And the other one, which is our more feminine looking card, and it's this one. So I'll be sharing all the details how to make this in just a second. But let's go over the supplies that we're going to need. So the first thing that I have down here is our host set during Celebration with a $300 product order. Or if you have a catalog party or something like that with a few friends joining you, you can also get this Punch Party stamp set with $300 in party sales. And it's super cute. It's got a lot of different sentiments in, and then of course, stamps that coordinate with different punches that we have. So the punches we'll be using today are the Heart Duo set. So this is in our annual catalog. Set those aside for a minute. In addition to the Punch Party pack, you might have noticed that there's a really cool looking die cut on here. And I actually use the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I use this larger shaped die and cut that out to make this really cool kind of label thing that you can set your heart on, which just looks awesome. And again, that's the Stitch So Sweetly dies from Stampin' Up. Again, that's in our regular catalog. Then we have 3 different colors of ink. So for the more masculine card, we're going to use Pacific Point. For the more feminine card, we're going to use Granny Apple Green. And on the feminine card also, we're going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And then we have 2 different kinds of designer series paper. So the first one is a celebration paper. Actually, this is going to, you'll get a half pack of this for free when you sign up for my Hey Chick card class, my Hey Chick or Hey Birthday Chick. So that is a kit to go, and you can find all the details on that at stampingtoshare.com. So everybody gets a half pack of this, but it's a celebration item with the $50 spend during celebration. It's called Flower and Field, and it's so pretty. It's one of my favorites. And we also are going to use a more masculine set of paper called the Well Suited Designer Series paper. So this is gorgeous. It's great for masculine cards. It's got some plaids and some textures, and oh, I just love it. It's got some grays in it, some blues, some reds. It's a great paper pack. All right, so we're going to start by, first of all, getting the score tool into the photo here. This is Stampin' Up! Simply Scored. For those of you that have ever gotten my card kits, you know that I pre-score everything for you because there is just nothing, to me, a card that's just folded in half that has not been pre-scored. It has sort of a ripply edge. It's never, it doesn't have that real tailored look. So I am a big fan of the Simply Scored tool from Stampin' Up! And I'm pretty picky about making sure that all of my customers, when they get my make and takes, that they get everything scored in advance. So let me share with you, we'll start with this Pacific Point, and it is scored at 5.5 by 8.5. Or I'm sorry, it's a piece of paper that starts out at 5.5 by 8.5, and then I'm going to score it at 2 inches and 6.5 inches, and then I'm going to flip it. I'll explain what that means in a minute, and I'll score it again at 3 1/8 and 5 3/8. So I'm going to set this here so that you can see those measurements for a bit longer. And whoops, I left my score tool on the other side of the room. I'll be right back. So there's 2 sides to your score tool. There's a little bit bigger ball on one end and a very smaller ball on the other end. When I'm scoring cardstock from Stampin' Up!, I like to use the small end. It gives a really crisp, clean score. When I'm scoring designer series paper, which I don't often do, but on occasion I do, I'll use the bigger end because it's not quite, it will be less chance of breaking through the paper when you use the bigger end. So I save that for more lightweight papers. So today, since I'm doing Stampin' Up's regular cardstock, I'll use the smaller end. And as I mentioned, we're going to score at 2 inches and 6.5 inches. So I've got them all marked. The score tool does come with a couple of markers, and then I believe you can buy extra. But I'm not 100% sure of that because it's been a long time. Once you buy a score tool, you have it forever. Now you'll notice that I said after you score at 2 and 6.5, you want to go ahead and flip your paper, so which is what I'm doing. So I'm flipping it. Now I'm going to score it at 3 1/8 and 5 3/8. So again, I've got my marker and I've flipped it and I'm scoring it again at 3 1/8 and 3 5/8. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for the more feminine card we're making with the Granny Apple Green. Again, score at 2 inches and 6.5. Flip your paper, score at 3 1/8 and 6 and 5 3/8. All right, now I'm going to share why I flipped. So let me put this aside. So when you are folding your paper, you might notice that there's mountain sides and valley sides on your score lines. So you always fold towards the mountain. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, folding towards the mountain. And I'll do that on the 2 and the 6.5. Then you flip it over, and here you have another mountain, so you're going to fold that again. And you're going to go ahead and press that down as well. And this is your fancy fold. So we're going to do the same thing over here, fold towards the mountain. And we're going to flip it over, fold towards this mountain, and towards this mountain. It gives you a nice crisp fold without breakage. There you go. So there we are. We have our papers ready to go and ready to start layering. Okay, so let's grab some stamping here. Let's get our stamping done. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. I am going to take some Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I've got a piece of basic white here, which is just scrap paper. And I have my outside frame for my heart. So I'm going to get my Stampin' Mat. Going to ink this up. And we'll just stamp the heart. Because for the more feminine card, I'm just going to do a heart outline. And then for the more feminine card, I'm grabbing the Granny Apple Green because it will coordinate with the Granny Apple Green card base that I'm using. And then I'm going to take the sentiment that says, "You make my heart happy." And because these are photopolymer stamps, I can see right through, and I can stamp this very accurately. Pretty, pretty. All right, then the next thing we're going to do is clean that stamp because we're going to do one more bit of stamping here. So I've got my simple chamois. I always cut it in half and put it in these half-size wood mount cases. So we're just going to go ahead and clean that stamp. Then we're going to grab the Pacific Point, and we're only stamping the sentiment. There we go. So let's punch those out. So for the more masculine card, you're just going to need the straight edge punch. So I'm just going to center that in and punch it out. And then for this one that has that pretty etching, I'm going to take the scallop heart punch, and we'll just line this up. It looks really pretty. So what I'm doing to make sure that I'm punching it just where I want it is I just focus on those 2 points, the top and the bottom, and everything else will line up just fine. All right, so now we can get the punches out of the way because we're done with those. And let me go ahead and get this out of the way, and let's get some papers layered onto these. And let me get my ink pads out of the way. We don't want to have that messing up any projects by accident. All right. So, well, actually there is one more punch that we're going to need. So I have a scrap of basic black here. And I am going to take a punch for the more masculine card. I'm just going to take the scallop heart punch, and we're going to layer this one on top of that one. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll have all of our sentiments ready to go. So I've got some Stampin' Seal here, and now we're gonna just put this right over the top. Just center that in there so all the scallop edges are nice and even. And then that is ready for our cards. All right, so let's get these layers done first. So kind of open this up And we'll just do these both at the same time. I think I have room for you all to see everything that I'm doing so that I can do both at the same time. So the middle section is going to be 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And again, that's cut with the papers that I talked about, the Well Suited Designer Series paper and the Flower and Field paper. So this time I think I'm going to go ahead and use glue because that way I can just wiggle it into place perfectly. Oh no, I put it on the wrong side, but that's okay because these papers are very flexible and I'll just use the other side for the other ones. I should have used the flowers in the center, but we're just going to switch that and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But this one I have right. Not that there's really a right or wrong. All of this paper is just so beautiful. It doesn't even matter which side you're using. But there is the center section for this one. So pretty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our side sections. So we have paper for the sides. They're going to go right here. And that is cut at 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to flip these and put these like this. So pretty. So again, just add a little glue to the back and then you can easily wiggle it into place so it is exactly, you have exact perfect borders. Yes, Lynn is saying the flower paper is beautiful. I agree. I just love it. Okay. So there we are with this one. Now let's go ahead and do this one over here. And I think to save time, I'll just put the glue on both of these. All right, so now we're going to center this in again over here. And this one over here. And this is a really fun design to play with your pattern papers. So you know how it is with Stampin' Up! All the sides are pretty. And so it's fun to make cards that really, really show off the Designer Series paper. All right, then we have another section. So there's one section still left to cover. So that is next to the center set. Well, I guess it's just in the middle here. These middle sections still need paper. So those are cut at 7/8 by 5 1/4. And we're gonna put one there, one there, one there, one there. So let me go ahead and do that. Again, I'm just using glue. It's really fast and you can wiggle it into place to have the perfect border without spending too much time thinking about it. We're going to go ahead and use this one here. Such a pretty easy card design. You just need to know your measurements and then you're set. And of course, your card will vary. In fact, when I was working with my downline group, I didn't even tell them what Designer Series paper to use. I told them just to pick some coordinating paper and to pick a coordinating card base. And oh my gosh, it was just amazing, the cards that they made and how awesome they all turned out. Every single one was just awesome. So it's so much fun to see that. It was a great mystery card activity. Now we have our cutouts, and I did pre-cut these from scraps of Designer Series paper. This particular scrap is from the Well Suited, and this is the Flower and Field. And what you want to do is fold these in half, whichever side you want to the front. And I like just getting it all lined up. And then I'll take my score tool and just press that down. Do the same thing over here. And now we're going to actually glue this together as well because we want a nice sturdy base for our heart. So again, just just cut those out with the Stitch So Sweetly dies. You'll fold it in half, and it makes just the perfect little place to put your heart. Okay, now the next thing to do is we're going to take this that we've just prepared and we're going to set it, I suppose, about halfway down. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just putting glue then right through here. And we'll set it, like I said, about halfway down. You want to have room for your heart, so that's going to go like this. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So put your glue just through the center. And then again, about halfway down is great. So pretty. Then we're going to take the hearts and we're going to add dimensionals to the back. And you'll want to keep the dimensionals a little bit towards the center. I don't think there's much that shows on the other side, but just to be on the safe side, keep it towards the center. And then let's go ahead and add these to our project. So just fold the card all together and then add your little heart. So there is one, and here is the other. There we go. So we have our project completed, and I'll just put these other ones out here too so you can see them all. Isn't it great? Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. It's really a pleasure to do these cards with you. I do get together with my fans or customers every Tuesday and Thursday on Stamping to Share. We generally do these videos at 10 a.m. Central Time. And it would be great if you join the Happy Stamper group at the same time, because I do mailbox shares on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. So it's always fun to have people join me in that. And then I can show them some swaps that I'm getting in the mail or show them cards that my customers or downline have sent to me. That's always a fun thing to do. And the other thing I encourage you to do is look into joining Stampin' Up! For the really good starter kit special that they have on right now. And we would love to have you join our Creative Crafters team. I am at 39 personals right now, and I would love to get that to 40. So who will it be? I hope it's you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.